My favorite, most effective, and simple drill for teaching acceleration mechanics and technique is the banded A run in place. So, breaking the drill down. A run, hitting your A position on every step, knee up, toe up, triple flexion, and an A run basically being high knees hitting your A position, part of the A series, A march, A skip, A run. Banded, big band around your waist, and in place means that the band is anchored to the wall or an athlete is standing behind with the band. So there's tension on the band. Why is this so effective? So the acceleration technique and mechanics that we're going after, there's three components. Hitting your A position on every step, having really big shapes, so big knees, big elbows, and lastly, most importantly, is having this down and back foot strike. So an acceleration, because we're trying to project ourselves forwards horizontally, we want to minimize the braking forces and maximize the propulsive forces. So the more underneath or a little bit behind ourselves we can strike the ground in this down and back pattern, the more propulsive forces we'll have going forwards. The more in front of our bodies, the more braking forces pushing back into us. So why this drill is so effective, specifically for foot strike, is because with the band, trying to maintain tension on the band, so stay in the same spot, hence in place, banded A run in place, there's an extremely small radius of where the athlete can strike the ground, both underneath themselves, under their hips, to keep their balance. If your athlete ever does this drill and they take a false step or a step a little bit too in front, behind, or to the side, they're probably going to lose their balance and either have to slow down to self-organize or just stop completely and reset. So self-organize is the key word because, and that leads into why it's so simple, is because as a coach, you are looking for the drill that gets the changes you want with the least amount of words possible. So what's easy for the athlete to understand. So when I describe this drill, I'll say hop in the band, walk out so it's kind of tight, and I can help direct them on how far to go. Get as many high knees as you can, all the way up to your belly button in 7 seconds. And don't move backwards, you gotta stay in the same spot. I can make that even more concise. High knees, as many as you can, 7 seconds, stay in the same spot. Boom, short, sweet, to the point. You can get a little bit more technical depending on what the athlete needs. You can say, hey, let's go for step frequency if that's what that athlete really needs. As many steps as possible. You can say, hey, really big shapes on this for 10 seconds if they're a really small accelerator. Or if they really have to work on this down and back foot strike, if they're really reaching an acceleration, you can have them scoot out a little bit farther so the band is a little bit tighter, so they have to lean more into the band if the band's pulling them that way. They have to lean a little bit more, to strike the ground more this way to push themselves more into the band, fighting the band. So that's why it's the most effective and the most simple, is because it self-organizes and it takes the least amount of words from me as a coach. Lastly, this drill is super simple to also regress and progress. So if they just can't do this drill, you can regress it to the simple A series without the band. So your A march in place, A march moving forwards 10 yards, your A skips, and your A runs. The common issue I see with the A series just in place or moving with no band is the athlete can get a little bit reachy trying to move forwards. So their foot can actually go a little bit in front, trying to help propel themselves forwards, but that's not the pattern we want in acceleration. So it's easy, it's simple to regress to just the A series, but it's also very simple to progress. So there's those three ways to progress it, give the athlete what they need: the frequency, the shapes, and the foot strike by going farther out away from the wall or their partner. But you can move it from a banded A run in place to a banded A run moving forwards. So have another athlete hold the band behind them and have them just slowly walk forwards with the athlete. So hands down, my favorite, most effective and simple drill because it gets the changes we want using the least amount of words possible with a bunch of opportunities to regress, progress, and individualize to the athlete. So give this a go. Let me know what you think.